So this tank is going to be moved and the fish are going to be changed. Because one thing I always say with fish keeping is change is king. So whatever you're enjoying with your aquarium, if you find that you get to a point where you're just not watching it, then the best thing to do is change it. In this case, we're going to take these barbs back to the shop and we're going to set this tank up for walking fish. Because we can use this as a walking fish tank. We've just got to make sure we take the heater out, and it's got nice fine gravel, so that shouldn't bother them at all. With the walking fish, we don't want size gravel that can potentially choke them, because somebody's mum's friends, aunties, sisters, teacher's cousin read on the internet that a fish got choked by a piece of gravel, which is probably possible. So now what we recommend is that you just use quite small gravel so they can pass it if they do consume it. So these plants should be fine, and we'll just set this up as a walking fish tank at the new location. And if you are going to keep barbs, they're very busy, very active, very nippy fish. So one of the best things to do with barbs is have plenty of them, otherwise you might find them quite aggressive. You're relocating an aquarium, the very first thing you want to do is take some water out, because before you start disturbing all the rocks, you want some nice clean water to put the fish in. You don't want to pull the rocks out, disturb all the water, and then put the fish in the dirty water. So now I've cleared the aquarium, taken everything out. Time to catch the fish. So when preparing water for walking fish, we're just going to use tap water. We're going to put some water ager in it to take the chlorine and chloramone and so forth out of the water. We're going to add a little bit of GH salt, which is good for their body, slime and immune system. And we're going to add a little bit of KH powder just to make sure that their KH is not 0. And they are a cold water animal, so we want to try and keep them in the coolest position we can. Definitely don't run any heater. And if the tank is getting too warm, you can blow a fan over the top of the tank. Majestic sells some pretty good fan options just to keep the tank on the cooler side. So this is where the aquarium is going. There's not a huge amount of access, which isn't ideal, but we should be okay. We should get by. Now, walking fish are a real favourite with the kids, and it's good to have several of them. In this aquarium we could have up to 4, especially seeing how big the filtration is. As they get larger, you'll find the male has a big swelling behind the back legs, which is how to sex them. They can be bred in ponds and so forth. Having more of them is better because a lot of the day they are asleep, so having several, so there's more likely to have one swimming around, is definitely more interesting. And I will say that your experience keeping walking fish is very much governed by the walking fish. Some have got awesome temperaments and they're really easy to keep. Others can be very fussy and very temperamental. So just bear in mind that one walking fish isn't the same as all walking fish. They all have their own little personalities that you need to get to know, some liking more than others. They come in a range of colours, the gold, the white, like pinky colour, greeny colour, blacky colour. Beautiful animals. You get to know them and they get to know you. They're beautiful little pets. Now, people often ask about putting fish with them. Now, putting fish with them rarely works well, but I have seen it work well. The most popular fish that people keep with them tends to be fish like mountain clouds, danios and so forth. And they'll just buzz around in the top of the aquarium. In some people's experience, it can go okay. Other people find the walking fish eat them very quickly. Other people find over time the walking fish do tend to knock them off. So it is, you don't want anything nippy though, anything that might nip on the fins. They've got the little frilly gills. We don't want anything nippy like barbs or anything that might nip on them. And it's definitely a risk. So we've put a little bit of salt in there, and we've got a couple of different foods for them. It's really important that we don't feed them for the next couple of days. And then when you do feed them, we just want a couple little pellets put in the tank. Preferably I like to hand feed them, so I put them right in front of the animal. Most of the time they won't take the food straight away. It'll take a while for them to get used to you. So if you just like pop one in the front and just kept an eye on it, And then over time you want to be watching their belly, and we want a nice little belly. We don't want it going up. We definitely don't want a big fat belly. So over time you've got to monitor what you're doing. And we don't tend to feed them every day. Usually every second day is pretty well fine. And it's normally the first couple of days I won't feed them at all. Now we'll just keep an eye on this plant as well. The plant may go okay, but on the other hand, over time, if we notice the leaves going yellow, then it could just be that there's not enough iron in the water. I'm going to put a little iron filter into the filter to put a little bit of iron in that might help. Also, the colder water, the plants aren't going to appreciate it too much, so we'll just see how they go. We won't place too much emphasis on the plants. Sometimes they're okay. Then if you notice black algae on the leaves, then you can add products like Flourish Excel to fix that if that was a problem. If the leaves are falling apart, it could mean that the water's too cold, or it could mean that the lights are not on enough, because these animals really don't need any more than ambient light. So I would only be turning the light on if you're enjoying the animals. If you're out, it's much better to have the light off. The tank will stay clean. But if you are serious about the plants, they are going to need sort of 6 to 8 hours a day light, which isn't ideal. So normally you're going to pick the walkers or the plant, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible that it won't work. So the other thing that the walking fish really love is like caves that they can climb in and climb through. So it makes them feel protected when they can get away somewhere and feel safe. We want plenty of aeration for them as well. So now I'm doing the filter clean. I've cleaned this in water that was removed from the aquarium. Then this was cleaned in water that I've removed from the aquarium. And then I'm going to add some polyfilter, because seeing we've moved the aquarium and we've added an extra load in regards to these walking fish, the polyfilter will help to remove anything impure out of the water, a lot of their waste. I'm also going to add a little bit of iron rod. That should just help the plants stay green. With the polyfilter, when it turns black, we chuck it out. This stuff is like magic. I love it. So walking fish are absolutely beautiful little pets, but it's really important when you're getting walking fish to understand that the personality difference between one and another can be extraordinary. The other thing is to have realistic expectations as well. So for example, let's say that you set your tank up like this and you're really enjoying it. Just be aware that over a period of time, if you find that you're just not watching your tank anymore, then it's really good just to rearrange things and put something new in the tank and just keep it a little bit different. There are various fish you can try with them, generally with very limited success. The mountain cloud and zebra danio are two fish very commonly kept with the walking fish. Sometimes it works well, they just buzz around the top. Other times the walking fish eat them very quickly. If you're really unlucky, the fish could even pick on the gills of the walking fish. So it really is up to the temperament of the fish and the walking fish. So the safest thing is not to mix them with fish, but some people do. And as far as mixing them with each other is concerned, in general they get along very well with each other. And this tank could probably hold up to 4 walking fish, assuming that you were looking after it properly. And having extra walking fish does tend to be more interesting, and it does tend to mean there's more likely to be one swimming around, because a lot of the day they're going to be asleep, and you want to try to have your light on as minimal time as possible. We really only want the light on when you're likely to be enjoying the animal. Other than that, if you keep the light off, you find the tank will just stay cleaner. And they're just a magic little animal. You need to spend time with them, and you just need to be aware that the personality of one and another one can be absolutely chalk and cheese. But they're very cool, very interesting little pets. But they do take a little bit of patience, and it is important to manage expectations. And if over a period of time you find you're not watching them anymore, one of the best things to do is just change decorations, swap things around and keep it interesting.